Hello there, this is ETV Special Edition and I'm Santayo Tamrat with this edition. With this edition, I'll try to dwell on the community engagement service at universities in Ethiopia, and my case in point is Haromaya University. And my guest today is Dr. Isaac Yusuf, who is the Vice President for the Community Engagement and Enterprises Development here at Haromaya University. Thank you so much for joining me, and do stay with us. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Isaac.
Yeah.
Well, Haromaya University has been one of the leading center of excellence when it comes to producing professionals in the agriculture sector. And this builds on the success stories of the university as the first generation university. But let's just be specific to the community engagement services the university renders to the community surrounding it. And what major success stories would you like to share me?
Okay, just as you said, Haromaya University is one of the oldest universities in Ethiopia, and it has been working a lot in agriculture despite its service in different field of activities. Haromaya University, even though it's given Center of Excellence in Agriculture, it has been working in health, it has been working in legal service, free legal service, working in technology transfer from different sectors, including agriculture and as other consumer-based technologies. And however, since we are known for agriculture, we are given Center of Excellencies. We are going to be given, for that matter, Center of Excellencies in Agriculture. And we have, as university, the three pillars are there, and these are teaching, research, and community service. After all are focused toward community service, because the teaching that we teach to students should go to the community and solve the problem of the society. And the research that we do are expected to solve the problem of the society or improve the status of the society. And Haromaya University, as already said, have working in a number of disciplines. When you come to community service, we focus work on agricultural productivity, improving productivities of agriculture in community. We work on quality education, because to transfer technology education of the society is important. And the education aspect cannot be separated. And we feel that health is the base for both education and agricultural productivity. We work in health, and the human being need its right. And we are working for that matter in legal services, infrastructure, and last but not least in natural resource management. And when we come to agriculture, as already said, the university has long experience in teaching, graduating, postgraduate students in agriculture. Besides that, it has long experience in research, basic research and applied research in agriculture that can solve the problem of the university. If you go in number of organizations, both governmental and non-governmental organizations, who are working on agriculture, you find a lot of graduates from here, professionals from Haromaya University, and we are involved in a number of activities. And when we come to the community service, since our primarily focus area is agriculture, we are giving a number of technologies, improved technologies to farmers, to communities around, so that they improve the productivities in respect to agriculture. But its activity is not limited to agriculture. As I've already said, in agriculture, we provide to communities some improved seed varieties, one of which is the potato, the onion varieties, and some other crop varieties. We provide communities with improved poultry or chickens, with improved types of goat breeds, cattle breeds, and forage for that matter. And still natural resources at the side of this agriculture. Yeah, the Haramaya Lake is there. Now, if you come to specifically to varieties, seed varieties we distributed, if you go to, for instance, in a place called a kabale called Kerensa Bortishanan, you can see farmers producing 3 times a year. And we established them, we support them at the beginning with seeds. Now they have completely stopped requesting for support. What they are interested is looking for the inputs at the market level. Sometimes the input is not there. In case of onion and potatoes, what they usually request is sale of these inputs, onion or potato variety, to them so that they can produce and sell to market. They say they don't need any support anymore. Rather, what we want is, since the inputs of these agricultural products is sometimes is not available nearby, they requested us to provide them with these inputs. And you can see the impact of this support. Now the society has transformed from being supported from all inputs, rather they are looking for access to inputs. What we have planned was, like, for instance, these varieties like the onion varieties and other varieties which is found in the center, we usually purchase and provide them on small subsidized price so that they can produce what they want. Similarly, they have experience of harvesting runoff water, rainwater, and they can't find easy access to this plastic water container. And they requested us, just we'll buy you if you provide us, because it's difficult for them to collect from the center. And we purchase and provide them based on some sale, some price. And you can see how these farmers are changed from being supported, all inputs, to accessibility of the inputs. Yeah? And when you come to livestock, we provide them with a varieties of forage seeds. Yeah, a kind of feed which provide better nutrition to the sheep, goats, and cattle. And we provide them, we show them how to plant, we give them training, and they plant at the same time. They produce a good output of feed for the livestock. We have recently community-based breeding program for goats, where we provide them better performing animal, goats, so that they crossbreed with their animal and improve the product of their animals. Just these are some of the issues which we have been doing. And as I already said, the impact can be seen that farmers have really shifted, transformed from entirely being supported to at least some of the basic inputs based on sale to them, since they are not easily accessible for that. The example which I gave you, that one of the areas which was transformed from being solely supported, both the main input like the potato seed and that of other accessories. As I have already said, we have these potato varieties, which is quite comfortable with the environment, convenient to the environment. We have a potato variety called Babu, and this and other varieties which we experimentally found good for the environment, produce optimum for the environment, were distributed to farmers a number of times. And they planted it at the same time. They sold it as a seed for other farmers. At the same time, they also sold it for consumption to the extent of export, as already said. If you go to this place, which I told you as an example, is a boundary between Kombolcha and Haramaya. This Kerensa, these farmers, as I already told you, produce 3 times a year, and they harvest rainwater. They collect groundwater in some specific areas, and then they plant this potato seed, and then they sell to the extent of selling to Somalilands in the eastern parts of Ethiopia. And similarly, other farmers are producing. Some of them are selling for seed purpose to the other farmers who have no access for this, since Arama University cannot produce and provide this seed to all farmers in the region. And some of them produce and sell to the adjacent farmers, and some of them sell to consumption because of its good productivity. It produces about 180 to 200 kilogram per hectare. Because of that, they preferred it, relatively resistance to disease and resistance to this moisture problem. This is the experience that we have with respect to the potato.
Well, apart from the agriculture services, what meaningful services do you render to the community?
Arama University is known for other community services, one of which can be a good exemplary is free legal service for those vulnerable parts of the society, for women's children who are not capable of defending for their rights. And we believe that equitable rights should be distributed throughout the communities. And because of that, since there are people, vulnerable parts of the society who are poor, who are not able to stand for their rights, we support them. For that purpose, we have about 46 centers in eastern and western Hararghe, and about 35 waradas, and we have some legal workers who are paid from us. We pay them annually about 5 million birr as a wage. And these people usually focus on those people who have no means of standing for their own rights. We plead for them. Those free legal service workers plead for them. They stand for them, and sometimes they can save them a lot of things that they deserve, which otherwise they would have lost because they don't have money to stand, a lawyer to stand at their side. Like, for instance, annually on this respect, we serve about 200,000 people. And if you estimate the service, what we give is about, say, 20 million per plus. And it's not only that. We give awareness. We have an awareness program. We have FM program 2 times a week in both local Amharic and Oromo language, so that we teach people how they should stand for their rights, how they go for their rights, and how to get what they deserve. And this free legal service is one of the services that we give to the community. The other is the health expansion aspect, supporting the community or the government in health expansion. We have a specialized hospital. At the same time, we have a number of clinics supporting. We annually work for the communities through the student PPT programs, service which can worth about 4.4 million and above. Besides that, we have a kind of campaign for those who are poor and are not able to attend their health. Annually, more than 200,000 people. We have also a project that we have a connection with to serve these communities. Like the best example that I can give you is a project from Turk, where helped us in solving the problem of cataracts, and this white, yellowish, cloudy covering of the hair. We have a kind of campaigns for a week whereupon we removed cataracts or solve problem of cataracts for over 400,000 people. We have a plan for 1,000 people solving the problem of this eye, and which otherwise people might face to a number of problems to the extent of blindness. And besides that, we have a kind of connection to external organization from US, like we have recently collected about 100,000 eyeglasses, whereupon we check individuals we have who feel that they have a sight problem. We check them in different, about 18 hospitals, and then we provide them free, which otherwise they would have buy it for 2,000 to 3,000 Ethiopian birr, a glass with its frame. And the other is on natural resource management. We used to work a lot on Haramaya Lake. Now we expand our territory to Dangago watershed, and that watershed, since it's leading its water flood down to Tredoa, if we properly manage the soil and the water in that shade, we can save the routine floods which usually happen in Tredoa. For that matter, we have a project from some other countries, Norwegian countries, whereupon we get more than 10 million birr through Forest and the Climate Minister last year. Even this year we have about a promise of 10 million birr, and we are working in conservation of soil and water in that watershed. Similarly, we are planning to work in Karsa region, since Karsa region is also an area which releases large amounts of fluid to Tredoa areas. And these are some of the watershed activities for the Haramaya. We have talked a lot.
Can you just update me the current status of Haramaya Lake?
Yeah, Lake Haramaya, as you know, was completely disappeared around 2011, some 10 years, 12 years ago. And then there was a large program, even a project which was run by Haramaya, was established solely for the purpose of reclaiming that lake. And that a lot have been worked around watershed catchment areas that lead to the Lake Haramaya. And recently it was recovering. Like, for instance, we have about, like after the disappearance, we annually take the inventory of the water, which is called bathymetric studies. The volume of the water, the depths and everything is measured. Recently, in the past 3 seasons, dry wets, and the last year, we have taken the data, and the data shows a good recovery of the lake, despite the little scarcity of rainfall in the past rainy season. And like, for instance, we have about 6.6 million cubic liter water in the past, say in 2020. Now we have almost 6.89 million meter cubes of water. The increase is very small, but since the rainfall was a little bit short compared to the previous rainy seasons, we did actually expect some kinds of shortage of runoff into the lake. Now we are taking the annual inventory of the water. Besides that, we are strengthening our soil management. One of the problem for the lake was the inflow of eroded soil into the lake, whereupon some of the springs are completely shut down. Now we have about 17 tributaries which leads to the lake. We have a plan of establishing a kind of engineering structure which filters the silt, the soil that run into the lake, and relatively is recovering. Still, there are a lot to be done. We have a project recently developed which cost about 5 million USD, and we are looking for a way out to implement this projects.
So when you plan community services or projects, do you share experiences from other countries which are similar contexts like Ethiopia? And what are just the best experiences you'd like to share other universities here locally or abroad?
We share a number of experience from different universities, both local and international. And there are things which are taken as an input for our evolvement, for our development. And there are things that we think that others should share from us. Like, for instance, the example which I gave you previously, the farmers who used to be supported, all the inputs now support themselves, and they're looking for the input on sale rather than free of charge. Yeah, that is something that we think of. We are striving. The other thing that we think of share to the other local universities is a community service that we deliver to communities in respect to free legal services. Yeah, a number of services solving a number of problems from poor societies, vulnerable poor part of the societies. Similarly, a kind of linkage that we have. We have about 89 international linkage projects here in Haramaya. And these projects are always adding something to our existence, adding value to our existence, not only to our existence, contributed a lot for our evolvement and development. Like, for instance, as I already said, we have a linkage, or project-based linkage, whereupon the finance might have been difficult to get it locally, yeah, where we are able to access it from other international organizations, yeah, like the one which I told you about. It's not only spectacle that we distribute. For instance, we have brought just last year 250 wheelchairs, and we distributed for those disabled part of the society who have no access to byways. We have bring a number of medicament and medicament facilities and distribute for 18 plus hospital in the eastern part of Ethiopia, for that matter. The linkage that we create sometimes will help us in reducing the burden that we put on government for budget. And this is one of the issues. The other issue which I told you is like this linkage helped us in developing project, and that project solves the problem of the society.
Can you tell me some of the challenges you have faced while implementing the community engagement services, and also how you managed to solve these problems?
Yeah, usually when we talk about the challenges in developing countries in Ethiopia, you plan something good, and sometimes you might not get enough financial means to run that plan or proposal. And the finance is one of the issues which can be considered, because we have a lot of activities in mind to provide to the communities, but finance sometimes limits you, even though that is one of the major limiting factors. As I already said, we assume that the way forward is not only waiting from government's general funds, and even universities, as you already said, as already known, are becoming autonomous. And because of that, we are thinking of selling our products, our technologies to farmers, and then getting some outputs, some payment for that, where we can solve or where we can move our objective with. Like if you go to this developed world, when you come to agriculture, for instance, most farmers support research or universities to solve their problem. That is not the case in our case. Most of the time, our farmers are not a kind of able to support you to solve this problem. If in developed world, usually farmer identifies their problem, through their associations, they provide for research and the universities to solve that problem. And thereby they pay for that service. But that is a little bit difficult in our case, since we don't have such established farmers who will pay you for solving this problem. Rather, they are looking for solving their problem, even support some other supporters, even though the trend is nowadays changing. And that is one of the challenge that we think of, like if we sell our technology and then get an income with that will support us in solving away the problem of finance in running forward our activities. But still, we didn't stop there, since our farmers is truly, most of our farmers is not capable of supporting or paying for the service. We usually look for other international organizations, donor organizations, or research, mutual benefited research organizations from other parts of the world, and try to solve a problem which is similar here in other parts of the world, because most of the time those developed countries support you if they have some mutual benefits that in a research or a proposal that you do.
In what ways do you engage students in the community engagement services?
We have, most universities have this community-based education, and experience from developed countries tells us that evolving the students to the community will help for a number of purposes, like, for instance, identifying the problem of the society, whereupon the student will get exposure to the true problem of the society and associate with the theoretical knowledge that they get, and at the same time benefiting the society by producing some services. And community-based education is one of the approaches that we use. As I already said, like in health, we have a strong community service and community which serve a value about 4 million plus annually. Similarly, this free legal service, even though we have recruited free legal service workers, our students have some share contribution in the free legal service that is taking place in the community. We have a center, we have a clinic, and a number of activities are being conducted in communities. And a student should always be exposed to the practical existing condition of the communities. That will help even those teachers to get access to the problem of the community. At the same time, when the students graduate, they can easily understand the problem and go in solution. And the community-based approach is the best approach that we assume we should continue in the future.
Dr. Isaac Yusuf, Vice President for Community Engagement and Enterprises Development at Haromaya University, I really thank you so much for the great explanations you have given us on the community services here at Haromaya University. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thank you very much.
Dear viewers, this is a conversation with Dr. Isaac Yusuf, the Vice President here at Haromaya University for the Community Engagement and Enterprises Development. Thank you so much for staying with me. I'm Santayo Tamrat with this special edition. See you another time.